Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you all. Good afternoon to everyone. I'm happy to be with you during this briefing after some time. We start, as usual, with news related to Prime Minister of Foreign Affairs within the coordination and consultation between the GCC countries regarding the development in the region. Sheikh Abdul Rahman Mohammed Thani, Prime Minister of Foreign Affairs, took part last Tuesday with the consultative meeting with the GCC foreign ministers countries. During the meeting, they have discussed the development and the efforts being exerted by the GCC and the regional countries regarding the peace and stability in the region and the freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz, and the importance of continuing the efforts in order to pave the way for building the trust and reaching solutions accepted by all parties. Within the efforts, regional efforts and the national efforts to bring stability to the region, a phone call was made yesterday between Prime Minister and Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister. Yesterday had phone calls with the foreign ministers of Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, Kuwait, the Sultanate of Oman, Bahrain, and during the week, phone calls have been made also with foreign ministers of Jordan, Germany, Egypt, and Canada. Of course, these phone calls were discussing the role of regional and national parties in the dialogue and diplomacy and what can be agreed upon, and the support of the State of Qatar for all the efforts in order to get rid of the tension and reach a comprehensive agreement for the comprehensive peace in the region. Within the development of the ceasefire in Gaza, on Friday, there were some phone calls between the foreign minister and Khalid al-Hayya, the Hamas chairman of the political bureau, also the implementation of the second phase of the ceasefire in Gaza, and the importance of the international community responsibilities to pressure Israel to abide by its commitment according to the agreement, to put an end to the suffering of the Palestinian people and to bring stability in the Gaza Strip. Dr. Mohammed Abdulaziz bin Saleh al-Khalifi had on Thursday a phone call with the Foreign Minister of Cooperation in the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. They dealt with the cooperation between both countries and the support of Qatar to all efforts to bring stability to Latin America, and the Guyana Foreign Minister has praised the state of Qatar efforts in mediation and sorting out disputes in a peaceful way. Yesterday, Monday, a joint statement has been released between mediators, Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey regarding the Israeli ongoing violations in Gaza Strip. The mediators have expressed their denunciation to the violations of Israel that are ongoing in the Gaza Strip against the health facilities, and some of the civilians have been killed, including women and children. This is a flagrant violation to the international law and the humanitarian law. The mediators have also confirmed the necessity of Israel being committed to all its commitment according to the international law and according to the ceasefire agreement. These violations, according to them, are a grave violation, and they will obstruct the implementation of the second phase, particularly after the acceptance by Palestinians of the roadmap. This will obstruct the path of peace, and this will increase the suffering of the Palestinian people in Gaza. The importance also was stressed of protecting the health facilities in the Gaza Strip. The mediators called the national community to be up to its responsibilities and to pressure Israel to abide by its commitment according to the international law and the humanitarian law. That's what we have this week, and we can have some of your questions. Saleh Ayad from the Arab TV. How is the state of Qatar commentary regarding what is issued by this Peace Council after the chairman of the Peace Council meeting with Netanyahu and the statement that has been described as a violation to what has been agreed in the roadmap? And we were waiting for the Israeli reply. The Israeli Prime Minister said yesterday that he still wants to displace the population of Gaza Strip outside the Strip. Our situation in this is very clear. There are commitments to Israel that Israel has to abide by. The different phases of the agreement since 2023 until today, we have seen Israeli procrastination. And today we are in a very critical and historic situation and period of time. Israel must commit to its pledges. And as we can see, there is a lot of things on the table, and it's clear who is obstructing the implementation of the agreement. The Trump plan and the second phase of the Trump plan. And the support of this plan is quite important through the consultations and through what has been published recently. So Israel is quite responsible for everything. There is escalation during the last few days. Victims, more than 30 martyrs. All of these is an escalation in order to obstruct the negotiations, so as not to apply the plan and reach peaceful solution to the conflict in Gaza. Thank you, Doctor. Let's go back to the joint statement regarding violations of Israel in Gaza. Where are now the mediation efforts? Israel is now obstructing the implementation of the agreement. What can you think of that? As you know, the mediators are continuing their efforts, and the statement aimed at putting Israel in front of its responsibilities regarding the agreement. The efforts are being made. We are in contact with the American side, the mediators from Qatar and Egypt and Turkey. We are all in contact with different parties in order to quickly implement the second phase of the agreement.
Victoria Gatenby, Al Jazeera English. President Trump says negotiations with Iran are underway, while Tehran says no talks are taking place. What is Qatar's understanding of the situation?
We can confirm that the efforts are still ongoing with all the parties. We are looking towards diplomatic resolution as we are speaking right now. As you know, there are current efforts on the ground that are in very progressive stages, and we are working with all the parties to see this effort. So I can confirm that the efforts are ongoing as we speak. Please.
Dr. al-Ansari, thanks for this. Good to see you again. What can you help us with the nature of the communication, the nature of the negotiation between the United States and Iran? They're not talking directly. Qatar obviously has played a pivotal role over many months. Now it seems as if Oman is taking the lead. Help us understand.
Well, first of all, let me confirm one thing, which is that everybody in the region is working in tandem in order to avoid escalation. We have seen since 2023 escalation in this region go rapid without any chance of returning to a peaceful situation in our region. And therefore, everybody in the region is involved, everybody in the region is committed, and everybody in the region is working together towards solving this issue. As you know, the mediators, Qatar, Pakistan, and now Oman are all working together on that issue. We are coordinating very closely with the Omanis to facilitate the talks between both sides and exchanging ideas and exchanging drafts between both sides. And we, of course, commend the Omani effort in aiding the mediation in this way. They have been taking a very important role and significant role in the past couple of weeks, but throughout the negotiations, everybody in the region, as I said, our GCC partners, wider than that, in the regional countries, have been working on these efforts. You probably have seen the calls between the ministers and leaders in the region during the past 48 hours. All of that is within the same effort. So I think all of us are working collectively, and we, of course, commend everybody who's working to get a deal across.
So drafts
Drafts are always being exchanged. I mean, anybody who's working on the negotiation process in any mediation knows that the tool of the trade is these drafts that keep being circulated. So I won't comment on a specific draft, but I can tell you that language has been drafted on a possible agreement and is being circulated between the parties. Callum?
Hi, Dr. Majed. Callum Payton from Agence France Presse. Just to go back on the nature of the ongoing efforts between the US and Iran, can we talk at any point at the moment about in-person talks, whether technical or otherwise, that are ongoing or maybe upcoming in any of the locations, Doha, Switzerland, Pakistan? And President Trump said overnight, our time, that Hormuz would reopen today, the Strait of Hormuz. Is that Qatar's expectation? And can we say more about what the focus on the Strait is at the moment? Is it to restart the MOU, or is it another agreement between perhaps the littoral Gulf states and Iran?
Thank you. Just on that second point, our focus right now is on avoiding escalation, reopening the strait, and reopening the door for diplomacy between the parties. What we do not want to see right now is a major escalation in our region, as the events were leading towards that direction. So we are working very closely with our partners in the region and with the parties of the conflict to reach a diplomatic resolution, whether it be short-term or mid-term, that would lead us towards avoiding any major escalation. So the focus right now is on finding a short-term resolution that would help us reignite the talks and go back to the mediation efforts in its totality and go back to the talks. And that basically answers your first part of the question. Right now, we don't have anything on the books when it comes to direct talks, of course. We are doing our job as mediators along with Oman and the other mediators and Pakistan and everybody in the region in exchanging ideas between parties. But we are hopeful that if we can get a resumption of the talks anytime soon, we'd be able to push forward towards a major deal that would help us walk back into a situation of peace in our region. Anwar, Malik Shayjo. أنور تفضل.
السلام عليكم.
Peace be upon you, Doctor. First of all, is there, when it comes to the draft, is there agreement to open the Strait of Hormuz? Have we reached this period? Another question regarding the situation of the set of the Qatar and the mediators. Are there new agreement or some amendment? Thank you, Anwar. First of all, we have learned through our role as mediators in several disputes not to have a timeline, and consequently we are working with all parties on the level of the leaders. We are quite involved in all contacts, and we hope, of course, to reach an agreement as soon as possible, but we cannot have any timeline regarding the agreement now. Until the moment, we cannot say that there is an agreement that has been reached already. When we reach an agreement, definitely you will know about that. Reaching an agreement is a request for all of us, and we all want to reach that point. But until the moment, there is no agreement. The coming hours or days can bring us some changes, but until now we are within attempts to reach an agreement. Regarding the nature of the current talks, what is quite important now is to go back to the talks. To go back to the talks, there must be certain things to be done. To go to the ceasefire, to stop the violations against the aggression and the freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. The State of Qatar has a clear position. It is not acceptable at all. We cannot accept that. The minimum request is to go back to the normal situation in the Strait of Hormuz, within the consultation with all the countries that have coastal borders with the Strait of Hormuz. We have contacts with all parties.
شكرا دكتور ماجد.
Thank you, Dr. Majed. A phone call has been made between the Qatari Prime Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and the Russian Foreign Minister regarding the Strait of Hormuz. My question is, what is the nature of consultations between Qatar and Russia regarding the crisis in the Gulf? What are the thoughts and the different situations? Is there a deal that can be reached or something like that? Thank you. As you know, in Qatar, we are quite keen to brief our international and regional partners regarding the development of the entire situation and this crisis in our region. It's not in our region only, but the crisis has affected the entire world. And we are quite keen to brief all our international partners about the nature of the crisis, and we talk about the economic situation, the diplomatic situation, and we all seek to reach and to get the support of our partners, regional and international partners, to sort out the crisis politically. Russia is an important partner in different files, but when it comes to this file in particular, there is coordination regarding this phone call to brief the Russian partners about every development. Okay, thank you. See you next week.
You can.
All right, another question. You can ask.
Sorry, just to ask a question on a couple of questions on Gaza. There seems to be a crux of a disagreement at the moment over whether Israel should be withdrawing from the territory after Hamas's agreement to disarm. What is Qatar's view on what Israel should be doing as part of the roadmap? And Egyptian state media has indicated that there will be a meeting in Cairo between mediators, including Qatar and Hamas, in the coming days. Could you say anything about when or if that will happen and what those talks might focus on?
Yeah, so I can't comment on that meeting right now. I don't have the update in front of me, but I will get back to you on that. Regarding if Israel should withdraw, let me state it very clearly. We think Israel should withdraw from all land that it occupies in adherence to international law. This occupation cannot be justified by any current or past security situations, and therefore them withdrawing from Gaza is a simple fact under international law that cannot be argued against. Now, in reference to the agreement and the roadmap that was put in place, of course, this is the expectation that now on Hamas's side and Palestinian side, we have seen adherence to everything that was agreed on the roadmap. The expectation is that Israel would do the same, and we employ the international community to put the right pressure on Israel to implement the plan, and for us to finally put ourselves on a map towards recovery and reconstruction in Gaza, and for the people of Gaza to see an end to the occupation and on the daily bombardment that has taken so many lives, and the humanitarian situation that has not improved significantly since more than 2 years now. So we are hopeful that this would lead to pressure on Israel to withdraw from Gaza, but not only that, to implement the plan in its totality and to put us on the way towards peace in the region and beyond.
Just one more question. Iran wants to charge vessels a service charge to transit through the Strait of Hormuz, while the US says that is a violation of the principle of the freedom of navigation. Where does Qatar stand on that?
Our position is very clear. Our focus right now is on resuming freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. We cannot accept any change to the status quo there. We are looking towards a diplomatic resolution that would allow all to use the Strait of Hormuz the way they have always used. It has to be in adherence with international law, first of all. It has to be in adherence with, or in coordination with all the regional countries, not one or two or any selection of them. And it has to be done in a way that would guarantee that the strait would never be used again as a tool of political extortion or diplomatic extortion, or as leverage against any regional or international players. Now, any discussion of how the strait is managed, any discussion of any financial situation that would result from the management of the strait is something that is regionally agreed upon, and something that we would support in Qatar. Any regional agreement that in consensus would be done in our region.
Hi, Dr. Majed, Halim, Euronews. Just picking up on the last question, in light of a reported second LNG tanker attacked in the Strait of Hormuz a few days ago, what coordination is Qatar currently undertaking with Gulf partners to safeguard freedom of navigation?
As you know, we're working very closely with our partners in the region and beyond. We have had a number of meetings with our GCC partners to, first of all, address the concerns, of course, when it comes to freedom of navigation in the Strait, but also work out different plans. The main focus right now is on getting an agreement in place, resuming freedom of navigation through the Strait of Hormuz, and making sure that all parties respect the security and freedom of navigation in the Strait. And this is the main, work that everybody in the region is working on right now, and we are hopeful that it would lead to positive results. But our focus is on getting a diplomatic deal on the ground that would pave the way for negotiations that would open the strait immediately. Thank you, and see you next week.